What's going on, Westworld fans? Johnny B Crazy here. Today I got another video for you. What's Ford's endgame, and did Akecheta change his mind about the host? As of now, Ford's consciousness is inside Bernard. He has a couple of days before he degrades inside Bernard's body. Do you really think Ford is going to sacrifice himself? Or does he have a different plan? He has taken Bernard's free will in order to save them, or so he says. Ford basically stated how much he despised humans and humanity, and believes that Host would be better fit to take over this world, or at least more deserving. Something interesting as well is that Bernard was so concerned with Dolores making it to the Valley Beyond first, whereas Ford didn't seem so concerned. I believe Ford knows what Dolores is doing and doesn't want to stop her. This brings me to the first of Ford's goals. Dolores, the Deathbringer, being a device of natural selection, or a tool of Darwinism, so to speak. And we know that Ford had Bernard shut off all the systems so that Dolores would have free reign in the park. Dolores is 95% Wyatt at this point, and it is worth mentioning that Ford did write the Wyatt narrative. As we know, everyone's heading for the same place, the Valley Beyond. What's in the Valley Beyond? In my opinion, more than one thing. I believe there is a cradle with human consciousnesses inside of it, as well as shells of human host hybrids waiting for the control unit to be perfected. This is backed up for me by Dolores stating that she's going to destroy all the souls that they have gathered there in the Valley Beyond. If you are one of the rich and powerful and you can afford it, you have a body on weight, or perhaps you can even pick the new 2052 Teddy model with that fresh new car scent. As I believe Ford cannot let this come to pass, this is another one of his end goals, is to stop that. Duh. And this brings me to the flooded Valley Beyond, where all the hosts were found dead. A third of them were wiped completely of their memories, or it seemed like they had virgin memories. I believe that these hosts got new bodies, and perhaps only a third of the hosts were ready to be free. Perhaps that's why Dolores is killing the people who aren't meant for the Valley Beyond. And this brings me to the last of Ford's goals, in my opinion, is to replace humanity with hosts, along with wiping out humanity with a virus. I believe the Valley Beyond might be a biological weapons testing facility as well, as they do have many people, guests, hosts, biological material to work with and to experiment with. The many references to blue tongue and it being spread by flies is a big deal in my opinion, and it also backs up this theory. Also, you have to remember that Hale said Abernathy was a key, and the key was a failsafe on a failsafe in case of a catastrophe. A pandemic would definitely be a catastrophe. And it brings me to the point, why does Ford care about the host now? Or seemingly care about them? Well, I believe it has to do a lot with his God complex, and his flower growing in the dark. Akecheta, whom in my opinion is the first host to become conscious, seems to have changed Ford's opinion on the host. Or in my opinion, he started to revel in what he created, and his God complex kicked up. I believe Ford wants to completely control hosts, because if he did have any empathy for the host, after he warned Akecheta of the Deathbringer, why did he leave him standing there for 2 hours to look at his brothers flayed open that way, with their scalps open? It was very cruel in my opinion. So he's still cruel to the host. If you think Ford's just gonna let himself die, well, you haven't been paying attention. He's gonna, if there is another cradle in the Valley Beyond, which I believe there is, if there's not one there, he has one built himself. He's gonna download himself into the cradle. The hosts that he's gonna let free, I believe, are gonna integrate into the world, and he's going to have control over those hosts and the hosts in the park. Maybe not literal puppet master control, but he will be able to somewhat manipulate events inside and outside the park. I think he's going to trick Hale and Strand, who's leading them into a trap in the Valley Beyond, and Bernard is going to take over. They're going to act like they got everything fixed in the park, and it's going to all start over again to where Ford can keep cultivating his new host to completely take over the entire world and humanity. As always, tell me what you guys think. This is a really interesting theory. Just leave a comment. Tell me what you think Ford is going to do, if you agree or disagree. As always, hit the like button, subscribe if you would, please. And this is Johnny Be Crazy, signing off.